Hey there and welcome. If you're an associate project manager apprentice, you've definitely come across K6. You know, the part about organizational structures. It can feel like a huge hurdle, especially with your endpoint assessment looming. Well, in this explainer, we are going to completely demystify it so you can walk into that assessment with total confidence. So this is the big question, right? Functional, matrix, or projectized? Figuring out which one you're working in, and more importantly, how to actually navigate it, is such a core skill. Honestly, it's one of the places we see apprentices get stuck the most. But don't you worry, by the end of this, you'll have it all figured out. To make all of this feel real, let's follow the story of Jody. She's an APM apprentice at a big retailer called IBIS Stores. Now, Jody is brilliant, she's totally on the ball, but right now, she is feeling that assessment pressure, and yeah, K6 is her biggest headache.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get inside Jody's head for a minute and understand the exact problem she's facing. I have a feeling this is going to sound pretty familiar to a lot of you. And that's it right there, isn't it? K6 can just feel so theoretical. You're thinking, how on earth do I turn this abstract idea into actual real-world evidence for my apt and portfolio? How do I even talk about it without sounding like I'm just reading from a textbook? That's the gap we're going to close for you today. So luckily for Jody, she's got an amazing mentor named Adam. He sits her down and starts breaking these big, complicated structures into simple, bite-sized ideas. And he uses her own workplace, IBIS Stores, as the perfect example. Adam starts with the most traditional one. He says, Jody, think of a functional structure just like the main departments at IBIS. You've got the bakery, produce, finance, marketing. Each one is its own little world, its own silo, and the head of that department has all the authority. Everything flows straight up and down. Simple. Next up, Adam says, is the matrix structure. And honestly, this is where most of us live. It's a hybrid. You've still got all those functional departments, but projects are kind of laid on top of them. So for you, Jody, that means you report to your line manager in marketing, but you also report to a project manager for that new loyalty card launch. Yup, two bosses. And last but not least, Adam explains, you've got a projectized structure. In this world, the project is king. Everything serves the project. Imagine IBIS decides to build a brand new superstore. They'd pull a special team together from all over the business, construction, IT, marketing, and that team reports only to the project manager until that store is open. The PM has all the power and all the resources. Okay, let's zoom in on this because this is so important. Look at how things change across these three models. In a functional setup, the department head runs the show. In a projectized one, the project manager is the boss. But look at that middle column, matrix. That's the tricky one. Authority is shared, resources are always being competed for, and communication, well, it gets really complex really fast. Sound familiar? All right, so Jody gets the theory now, but Adam wants to show her how this stuff actually plays out in her day-to-day work, creating the very real challenges that she has to manage as a project manager. So this is a snapshot of Jody's to-do list. Pretty standard stuff, but look closer. She's got a super important report for her line manager, Riddle, in marketing. At the same time, she has an urgent project milestone to deliver for her project lead. See the problem? This is the classic conflict you see in a matrix structure every single day. And here we go, the pressure's on. Rattel, her line manager, comes over and makes it crystal clear. From her department's perspective, that marketing report is priority number one, no question. The project can wait. And just like that, Jody is stuck right in the middle, trying to please two different bosses with competing priorities. So what's the move here? What does Jody do next? She can't just ignore one of them. This whole situation is a massive risk to her project's schedule. And as an APM, she's got to have a strategy to handle it. This is exactly the kind of real-world problem your assessor wants to hear you talk about. This is where Jody's coach, Olivia, comes into the picture. Olivia's great because she doesn't just want Jody to know the theory, she wants her to have a clear, step-by-step plan to actually develop this skill, and, crucially, to prove it. And here it is, Olivia's 5-step roadmap. It's brilliant. You start by just learning the lingo, what we've just done. Then you become a detective at your own job. Who really holds the power? Who controls the resources? But the real game changer is step 4. Instead of getting caught in that conflict like Jody, you learn how to escalate it yourself, using evidence to back you up. And you wrap it all up with reflection. This is how you go from just knowing K6 to actually mastering it. Okay, now for the part that really matters. All this knowledge and development is great, but it's useless if you can't prove it. So let's talk about how to capture rock-solid evidence for your portfolio, and then how to talk about it in your endpoint assessment. This is the final piece of the K6 puzzle. So what does good evidence actually look like in your APE-10 portfolio? Well, assessors don't want a long essay. They want proof. A simple write-up of your company's structure is great. Even better, annotated meeting notes where you've literally highlighted who gave the approval, or an email chain showing you coordinating resources between two managers. And you know what's absolute gold? A short, reflective piece about a specific challenge you faced and how you solved it. So picture this. You're in your EPA, the assessor leans forward and asks you this question. This is such a classic EPA prompt. They want you to connect the dots between the theory, your organization's structure, and a real thing you actually did. And here is a killer answer. It's short, it's confident, it's packed with proof. Notice the key words: matrix structure, functional manager, resource conflict. Jody shows she saw the problem, she took action by scheduling a meeting, and, this is the best part, she documented the result. She didn't just solve the problem, she created an evidence trail. That's a top-tier answer. And there you have it. By following that whole journey, from understanding the theory with her mentor Adam, to navigating the real-world messiness, to using Olivia's development plan, Jody is no longer confused or overwhelmed by K6. She's confident, she's prepared, and she has the evidence to prove it. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a minute after this and really think about it. What organizational structure are you working in right now? Who holds the power in your projects? Who really owns the resources? Answering that question for yourself, that's your first real step to cracking K6. You've got this.